Let's look at 3 cornerstone gauges to help you judge the growth and stability of your practice coming through the pandemic and into what just might be a recession.
This is The Rare Advisor, proud to be a part of the Advisor Advancement Network and home of a business model supercharged by recurring and repeatable events. Your host is Mike Walters, CEO of USA Financial. He is an investment advisor representative of and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, I've probably mentioned to you before, but a couple of times a year, we will run what we call our Chain of Secrets event. It's specifically designed for financial advisors who are currently affiliated with us, who are working with us on a daily basis and are truly part of what we do here at USA Financial. And the reason I bring that up is because it's important in the sense that we, meaning USA Financial, are essentially an aggregate, a reflection, if you will, of all of the financial advisors who choose to be affiliated with us. And that group, we ran some stats because just last week we had this Chain of Secrets event. So I ran some stats on that particular group and I came up with 3 huge items that are very revealing and I think could be beneficial for you. What we did is we looked back over the last 3 years. So that encompasses the pandemic and what's essentially leading up or leading toward a potential recession. And over those last 3 years, we came up with these 3 significant stats. The first one is that the average new account size increased over 35% during that period of time. So advisors are actually bringing on larger accounts, in theory, likely larger clientele during that period of time, during a period of time in which they couldn't necessarily get in front of clients or prospects the way they had in the past. They had to convert to a digital environment and they had to learn how to utilize or execute their appointment process over things like Zoom or videos or various other more distant type technologies rather than a face-to-face environment. The second thing that really stood out with that group is their recurring revenue increased from an average of 68% of their overall revenue to 76% of their overall revenue. Again, knowing that we are an aggregate reflection of these advisors, it makes it easy for me to get these stats because I can kind of look at our stats as a whole and then illustrate that down in terms of an average, again, going from 68% up to 76%. And that's really important because it creates consistency in one's practice, but also it drives up your valuation numbers because we know that recurring revenue is valued significantly higher in the marketplace than is transactional revenue. And then third, and definitely not least, in fact, it is the number one stat, is that the average blue book for the advisors that were affiliated with USA Financial and part of this Chain of Secrets event, the average blue book value of their practice increased by 53% over those last 3 years. Now, the Blue Book value is something that we create here at USA Financial that we track what's going on in the industry. We track some of the formulas that are essentially behind the scenes being used to identify the valuation or the appraised value of a practice. And then we create a Blue Book environment, much like you would get the Blue Book value on a car or your vehicle. It gets you into the ballpark of what is your practice worth. Normally, it's within about 1 to 3% of a formal valuation or an appraisal if you were to pay for that. But it's a service we provide to our advisors free of charge. We actually calculate it automatically for them on a quarterly basis, and we identify what their Blue Book value is. And during that last 3 years, going through the pandemic and up to what may or may not turn out to be a recession now, during that 3-year period of time, their Blue Book value actually increased by over 53%. Now, I bring these things up to you because if that's not what you have experienced, please reach out to us. Let us work with you. Let us at least figure out if we're a right fit for each other. Maybe we can help you break through these glass ceilings, much like we have other advisors. This is also something that we dive into in our Predictable Practice event, and we do run these a handful of times over the year. You might want to keep an eye out for that. If you would like an invitation and you haven't received one, feel free to again reach out. But those are 3 really good benchmarks for you to look at to identify where is the direction of your practice heading. What does your average account size look like? Or maybe a better stat would even be, what does your average client size look like, or average household look like? And then, where's your recurring revenue? Has it been increasing as a percentage of your overall revenue? Is it holding steady, or is it eroding? Because again, we know that helps to drive those valuations. And then specifically, what is the overall value of your practice? What does its blue book look like as it pertains to what is that asset? Probably the most significant asset in your life. What is the value of your business? Hey, I hope that's helpful.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.